Hey, it is your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today and wishing you a happy new year. And we're zooming in and focusing in on a wonderful viewer question, and that was to talk about how to get over the trauma that has been induced by a very damaging, emotionally manipulative relationship. How to overcome PTSD and how to work through what feels to be, post-traumatic stress syndrome, complex PTSD, how to really understand this, and I think the question is so she can ultimately get through it. So as we understand post-traumatic stress syndrome, it's a feeling of being crippled or paralyzed by fear. It's presented with, constant ruminations or flashbacks or visions of the traumatic event. So whether it's bombs bursting, whether it's things on fire, people being shot, or just yourself being yelled at, being criticized to the core, feeling hated to the bone, being overly controlled by another, this can induce the same traumatic feeling and traumatic bond of having to appease the violator, to identify with the perpetrator, and oftentimes becoming a feeling of depersonalized or amnesia for your own life purpose, and feeling almost like as if a Stockholm syndrome. So in other words, you're identifying with the captor. You are resonating. You are so trauma bonded that the fear in all the negative images that have been instilled or presented before you, whether it's criticism, condemnation, belittling, scapegoating, splitting behavior where they're trying to get people to gang up against you and spreading rumors or lies as a way to make themselves look better, more powerful, more in control, that this can create and instill a feeling of post-traumatic stress syndrome. In other words, you've been through something so traumatic and so hurtful and so paralyzing and crippling to the core of yourself that it's like a deer in headlights. One cannot move. It's a feeling of just being paralyzed by this experience, by this energy, by what you have received and has been placed through your senses. So, and you are being desensitized to your health. You're being desensitized to your regular thought patterns. You're not able to think or even think clearly at all. People who have post-traumatic stress syndrome, oftentimes they cannot think. All they are filled with is they're filled with fear. And it's fear which is false evidence appearing real. In other words, they can be in a perfectly beautiful garden, but yet have images of people yelling at them or people hating them, that they are chilled to the bone. They are basically psychologically hijacked to such an extent that they cannot be and exist within their own body. They have an amnesia of their senses. They don't know how to call forth their own senses. They don't know how to bring the positive feelings about. They can't think in terms of safety, security, trust. These are the foundations of human experience, and they are required for you to live, at peace and in harmony and in that vibration with the quantum field, which is your ability to have a vision and experience not only the present in a whole manner, a healed manner, but the ability to use judgment. Your prefrontal cortex isn't stifled, isn't hijacked. In other words, you're able, the healthy mind, the healthy body is able to be at peace and be in flow and able to think and dream of a future and then take feelings, thoughts, and actions in that manner. So, post-traumatic stress syndrome or complex PTSD is basically the mind trying to accumulate more of what it already has in a dark, heavy, weighted fashion. In other words, just it's on autopilot. It's the subconscious mind trying to find more reasons to be afraid, more reasons to doubt self, more reason to feel that you are not good enough, you are not effective, your thoughts don't matter, your thoughts aren't working. It's the feeling of just complete and utter shutdown. It's the body entering into depression or deep rest. Depression, deep rest. It's the dark moments of the soul. Many poets, writers, filmmakers, cinematographers, musicians have expressed this in their music in various forms. And really, it is the human condition. If you look at most movies, there's some element of this trying to overcome a tension or a trauma. And you can turn on the news for 5-10 minutes, and how much bad news are you going to absorb and be inundated with? I do not watch those news programs. You are allowing this selective fear-based images into your subconscious mind, and before you know it, you'll feel as if you are living in a war zone, even though there is no war taking place in 2 inches in front of your feet. But the body absorbs it as such. Also, living with constant, alcoholics. The kids here who have parents who are narcissistic or psychopathic, who are controlling them through fear, hatred, intimidation, causing self-doubt. That trauma. You make mistakes. You cannot do anything right. The amount of mistakes that you make just are insurmountable. You enter into complete sensory overload and overwhelm. And this really is what ends up happening in narcissistic relationships. And so I would plead to you to lighten up and to realize that this is the mind seeking to accumulate more of itself. In other words, what you focus on grows. So if you continue to focus on the news, focus on the problems that talk about drugs and drug trafficking and people wearing masks and people shooting each other and gang rivalry and, the police chases, and you're watching the scary movies, you are filling your mind and the subconscious mind with those images. And the subconscious mind works on images. It doesn't work on English, Spanish, Arabic, Mahafi, whatever language you can come up with, French. It works on images. So if you have constant images of people yelling at you, slamming the door at you, throwing things, drinking themselves into oblivion while you're trying to have a conversation, do drugs while you're trying to have a conversation and they're blown into oblivion, or trying to control you with images and expressions that you are not good enough, so you are going to enter into that fear-based mode where everything and anything is coded in your brain as a threat. And so this is then fear, false evidence appearing real, as an acronym. And so the way, and I discuss this in my book and in the recovery journal, is that this is, just the body's way of the body, the subconscious mind, which nobody ever taught you about in kindergarten, in the playground, or even in your family. But what you focus on grows. So if you focus your mind is going to repeat these flashbacks. It's just recalling history. And basically, your brain is going to conjure these up, all the various negative experiences you've been through. It's like a fishing pool. If you try to go fishing in a pond with all these fish, i.e. memories of bad memories, being left, being abandoned, being told you're not good enough, slamming the door, all these are energy that is encoded in your body and in your subconscious mind, and then you are feeling afraid. So that is it's like taking a fishing pole that's filled with memories that are negative and hurtful and hateful and belittling and condemning and controlling in nature and trying to come up with a different type of fish. It's just not going to work. So it's like, let's take the fishing pole out of that pool. Hello, baby buy. In fact, let's just surround that pool with, how about let's just make it a 1,000-mile wall that you cannot ever get back into. That has steel that is 3 miles thick. Okay, what do we say? Let's just call the wall 3,000 miles high and 1,000 miles thick. You cannot fish there anymore. It is gone. It is, been hijacked by the government or whatever. It's been walled off by the government. You cannot fish there anymore. No one can get there, not even you. You don't even have the tools, the drill, to be able to drill through 1,000 miles of steel. So you just need to now get that fishing pole, and begin to then resensitize and create and surround yourself with more positive, supportive, safe images to begin. And you need to question your beliefs. In other words, is it scary right now? Is there anything in my immediate environment right now to be afraid of? That's why it's so important to go now contact with the narcissist, because they are going to perpetuate those negative experiences. And likewise, if you have items that you have, in other words, you're still living in the house, you're still living in the apartment, you're still living in the community where all this trauma took place, you need to get rid of those things. I don't care if it's furniture, posters, dishware, spoons, appliances, whatever it is that, you feel is triggering those negative feelings. You need to get rid of it. You need to have junk be gone, or, hunks and suits, or whatever, demolition crew is going to come out and clear, fill 3 dumpsters with crap if you have to get their crap out of here, because you cannot live with that around you. It's going to perpetuate, it's what leads to, it conjures up all the negative images. Repainting the walls, redoing the floors, recarpeting, redoing your kitchen, your bathroom, your bedroom, getting rid of all the pillows or sheets, bed linens, etc., that are filled with this dark energy or triggering you in that negative way, which is keeping you stuck. Because the subconscious mind will pull all those memories from those items. It'll just, what we call priming, it'll keep it around you. So, you are in resistance to safety, you are in resistance to happiness, you are in resistance to self-trust when this is around. And so you need to resensitize, and I talk in my book about resensitizing all of your senses, gathering, comforting images to begin with. You need to get a bunch of magazines, 5 magazines that have beautiful images that you adore, that you love, whatever it is you're attracted to. Types of clothing, types of scenery, types of smiles, types of people, even religious figures, people who you admire, and putting them on your refrigerator, putting them on your wall, getting posters that have uplifting things that are meaningful to you, getting these things, to-do lists with pretty paper, guys getting tools and building things that are, images or symbolic to you that you are building a new life. Getting gardening, you got the picture hopefully by now, and do this, to the point where you are investing in yourself, your health, life, getting beautiful plants around that you love that are bright colors, yellow daffodils, roses, beautiful violets, beautiful, whatever it is, daisies, whatever type of flower. Put flowers in your environment. Play soft music. Light Palo Alto wood that is very spiritual in its scent, or cedar, or something of that nature that resensitizes your senses. And, wearing comfortable, soft clothing that is comforting in nature. Surrounding yourself with scents. Once again, all senses, beginning to use things like, I talk in my book about brushwork, brushing your skin in circles that, is soothing and is calming, and gives your body good feelings. You know, you can even just get a dry brush, guys or girls, and you can just do this to your skin, and it is stimulating and soothing. You can do this all over your body, and you begin to feel the positive energy going through those brushes. Other little things like Ayurvedic medicine has these sensitizers where you can use these to, give new sensations and, new feelings. Like this is like a little roller, and you can roll this on your skin and just massage even your fingers. I mean, we're talking about getting down to the nitty-gritty here. We're talking about getting down to the hands, the feet, the toes, resensitizing, using lotion, using creams, things that are comforting in nature. And then surrounding all of your senses with these positive vibrations and working with your astralmations, your I am at peace. I surrender to trust, self-trust. And, if you need to go to a doctor and get some gentle anti-anxiety medication, there's people who it's to that extent where they are going to require that. But, it is, and then you begin to identify those flashbacks as just flashbacks. Enter into an understanding that those images, like complex PTSD, the flashbacks of the narcissist yelling at them or being sexually abused or whatever images that they recall, realizing that those belong to the past. They don't belong to the now. Yes, this did happen. It's not about living in denial. It's about saying, wow, I was in the line of fire by this abusive, controlling, belittling person. That was then, this is now. And then being able to question your beliefs, and question your, where you're at. Am I experiencing, criticism right now? Am I, in danger right now? And begin to question that